Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Jay, who runs three businesses with one FinAccurate, Boston Robotics, and ProcessWorks. So I'm really looking forward to having a chat with her and seeing how she does all of that. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the opportunity. I always enjoy sharing my journey with others, and I also learn a lot as I share and reflect on things. So
Mhm.
I really look forward to this type of conversation. Thank you for
Awesome. Well, let's get stuck right in. And so, tell us a little bit more, I guess, about FinAccurate and how did you go to starting that? Because I saw previously you were more like an accountant, and
Yes.
then yeah, what kind of happened? You went and started your own business. How did that journey look? And then what do you guys do at FinAccurate?
Definitely. So first of all, my full name is Jayanti Ganapathy. I do go by Jay shortly in the business world. Prior to starting FinAccurate, we are in our 11th year now, which is our accounting firm based in Boston, Massachusetts. So prior to that, I worked for a multinational company for 11 years. I started with them. Actually started my career with this multinational company. Started in India for their North American back office operations, and for the same company, I actually worked for Sydney, Australia as well. It's since a multinational company, they have presence in Australia as well. And from there, I moved to United States, 2009, and worked in the same company as a corporate accountant, heading M&A activities and a lot of finance restructuring projects as well. So I worked there as started as a accounting manager and then grew all the way up to the corporate accountant level. And it was 11 years, and I wanted some different challenges, and I was growing as a technical accountant in the corporate environment. I wanted something that reflects on the day-to-day operations, working closely with the business owners, and so I can see the impact of what I do on a day-to-day basis reflect in their finances, or in on the money or the growth of the businesses. So that's what I really loved. So that's when the decision to quit my corporate job, start my own accounting firm with zero experience. Really didn't know what I was getting into when I had that idea. So I do right in. And after that, I realized it's not as easy as I thought, but
Mhm.
we are in our 11th year, but it went really well. And I have no regrets of quitting my corporate job and starting my own firm because it worked out
Mhm.
really well. So that's where we are. And at FinAccurate, we primarily work with the small business owners. As part of my corporate job, I started off with the bookkeeping CFO services because that's what I was close to working in the corporate environment. So
Mhm.
just to feel comfortable, so we started off with the accounting and bookkeeping and CFO services, working closely with small business owners who really needed that kind of a help, which the systems and processes and controls at a corporate level. I was bringing that knowledge and education to these small business owners. So it really clicked well. It took me only 6 months since starting my business to replace my corporate salary for
That's
several
pretty
years.
good.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good start, and it was a good welcome, and the clients were open to go. Even though I was new, starting my own firm, they were open to go because of my corporate background. So I was able to
Mhm.
land few clients pretty easily, and was able to replace my full-time salary. From there on, there were challenges along the way. As I initially, when I started, it was just me, and through local networking and everything, I was able to land few clients. But after year two is when I wanted to grow beyond me, right? That's when having a team and hiring and marketing and sales, things started getting a little bit more challenging from there. So I would say my year 3 to 5 were a lot of ups and downs and challenges, and dealing all of that as an individual was really a growing pain. But starting year 6, I would say I started seeing the growth happening with team behind
Mhm.
me, and learning some of the marketing and sales strategies, and growing it from there. So now we are
Mhm.
really doing well. Every year, at least we are growing 50% or more. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been a very rewarding and challenging at the same time journey so far. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations on all of that. Sounds like you've yeah really done well. And then so just going back to like the early days, because I know like working for someone and then working for yourself, it's a completely different ball game. So how did you like when you were starting out, how did you know what things to do? Or like how did you learn what to do? How to like run the business? Because I like you knew the accounting stuff, but how did you learn how to run the business, how to get the clients, how to then yeah, like manage them and all that stuff.
Yes, it was definitely with the some of the managing piece. Yes, as a corporate, I was leading a
Yeah.
team also. The team management was not that difficult. What was a big learning and still a learning is marketing and sales.
Mm,
So our core like service delivery, working with clients, delivering the bookkeeping, CFO, tax services, all is fine. That's the core. But the
yeah.
challenges is more towards marketing and sales. So initially, it was a lot more because I was trying to do certain things myself, was trying with other agencies. So the combination of third parties, a lot of trial and error during that period
Mm,
versus now we are in our 11th year. At least we know what works, what doesn't work. But
mhm,
there is still the challenges of marketing, where the leads are going to come from, what channels, because it constantly changes. So, yeah, you only learn by doing it. Other thing really helped me was I didn't try to figure out everything myself. I always relied on coaches and masterminds and training
mm,
programs. I invested in them. So I'm a big believer of learning from others, and
right.
I'm very much open to be coached by others and learn from so that really helped me, I would say, grow faster. And
Mhm,
also where we are at our firm is currently 100% paperless, virtual, and we also leverage the back office team in India. We have the best systems and processes in place and very
mm,
good profit margins. So all
mhm,
of that, I would attribute a lot to me being signing up with master accounting mastermind groups
mm,
specifically. So
right.
that's where I learned a lot. Initially, there were challenges when I was trying to do it myself, but even when you have coaches, it's not that it's going to be very easy.
Mhm.
Still, at least the journey becomes 50% less difficult than
Yeah.
it would be if you try to do it yourself. So yeah, I would attribute give credit to most of the coachings and the coaches
Mm.
I've had along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's like I find like when you have a mentor, you don't need to completely reinvent the wheel. You do need to like figure out a little bit of stuff, but at least they can give you like the rough roadmap of the things that you need to do.
Exactly, exactly. Where it really helped me for my accounting firm, the pricing strategies,
Mhm.
packaging and pricing, and like how we started tax advisory services 7 years ago. When only in the past 5 years, tax advisory is kind of developing into a product like most of the accounting firms are looking into. A lot of the things because of the mastermind groups, I started way early rather than I even now I see some of the accounting firms in US, even though they are 30 years old, they are still not adopting to the advisory model, whereas I'm already on because of the
Mm.
exposure I had with these accounting coaches and masterminds.
Right.
So definitely learn from others is
Mhm.
one thing I would encourage everyone to go do
Yeah.
and try to figure everything out by yourself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And then so when you say you moved more to the I think you said advisory model, what do you feel is like the difference? What's the difference between advisory model and what's the other model that people are currently using? What's like the difference between the two?
Yeah, both for the accounting, bookkeeping, and also for tax. The compliance is so just getting books done, closed on a monthly basis. And
Mhm.
if you're only looking at your profit and loss and balance sheet and nothing more than that, that's compliance, getting the books closed and reconciliation. Whereas on the advisory side, we
Mm.
meet with the business owners on a monthly basis, review the financials with them, where how they can grow their revenue, net profit, gross profit margin. So we discuss the financials with them from a growth perspective, and a little bit on the controller CFO side of things. That's where the advisory comes in.
Yeah.
On the tax side, compliance would just be filing the tax returns after the year closes. It's always a postmortem, both for the books and also for tax. You're looking at historical information, which is not going to help you run your business now and also grow it into the future, right? Versus tax
Hmm.
advisory, we start working with the business owners, say for 2026, we start working with them from January of 2026. Look at how much you're going to go make profit for the rest of the year, project it out and plan. This is how much you're going to make money. This is how much you're looking at to pay taxes. What can you do? What strategies you can deploy now, which can help you save taxes? So that's the advisory piece. Both,
Hmm.
and when you do compliance, you're not expecting any savings or return out of it. You just
Hmm.
what you're paying to get the compliance the work done is just a fees. Versus
Hmm.
on advisory services, you can expect a return out of it and then a growth from it. So that's where the advisory proactively helps
Mm.
this
Okay,
one.
yeah, that makes sense. That's a very, very good explanation. So it's essentially from just being a like bookkeeper, where these days you can get AI to do quite a lot of that as well, to more like a strategic thinking, planning, looking at the future, and then trying to help them improve the business as well.
Yes, yes. It helps with
Hmm.
the growth, saving money, and also
Mm.
growing your business, your assets, net worth overall. That's where
Yeah.
advisory comes in.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, so like with FinAccurate, tell me a little bit more about like how did you get those early day clients? Because I think that's especially for new businesses starting out. Just getting
Definitely.
those first few clients is always the most difficult, especially with how skeptical people are these
Yeah.
days and everything. So how did you, yeah, go about getting those clients? I remember you said you did a little bit of like networking and stuff. What did that kind of like look like in terms of your client acquisition in the early days?
So the first 2 years, which I still feel is still the best marketing source, which is I went to the local networking events, business owners, and I also joined the local networking group. There are BNIs here, and there's another networking group for business owners, ProVisors. So being part of that organization as a member and attending those events and meetings, that's one part of it, and also attending any local business owners monthly events or going to go other places or hosting events myself. So the first 2 years, for year 1 and 2, it was only networking, meeting people, telling them about what I do, what my services are, and building that relationship, not just meeting them once, but
Mhm.
being consistent, going for the if for most of these membership organizations are a weekly or a monthly meeting, so showing
Mhm.
up for those meetings consistently, building that trust, telling more about yourself and what you do, how can you help other business owners, how does your service differentiate from others. So it's building that relationship and conversation consistency. two
Mhm.
years I was very heavy into from
Right.
morning 7 a.m. meetings to late nights, evenings, so those kind of things. So the 2 years was heavily, that's the only way I grew. I got my clients and got to a 250,000 revenue level just by networking.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. And I can kind of see that because you seem like a very, like outgoing, friendly type of person. So I can see you doing quite well doing that. And then so let's say they're like, because like what I find as well, you go to these networking events and then maybe you chat with them a little bit, but then you don't go past like just like the chat phase. You
Yeah.
don't go to the, hey, okay, I'm gonna now help you and work with you. How do you kind of like, I feel that phase is like the really difficult. Like talking to people is pretty easy, but then
Yeah.
getting them to, okay, now we're working together. How did you kind of go about that, like really micro stage
So
from that?
that's where the membership organizations are very helpful. So the short conversation, and if you're only meeting them at one event and having that few conversation may not really help, but being part of that community or organization, and not just attending the monthly meetings, and also they're also if I'm working with my clients and if they have a need for a financial advisor, referring businesses to others, helping each other members out. So
Mm.
that way, when if a financial advisor, he's working with a small business owner, he or she is working with a small business owner, and if they have a bookkeeping or tax needs, then they immediately think of me. So you have to be on top of mind of others. For that,
Right.
one small interaction is not going to be sufficient.
Mm.
Is that consistent consistency, and also referring business with each, helping each other also helps. So 'cause sometimes you cannot just be a taker, right? Yeah.
Mm. Gotcha.
So
Yeah, yeah.
give not just referring businesses a value add in any way you can,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I think the relationship building in the beginning, when
Right.
you don't have money to invest in heavy marketing or even software and stuff like that. So for
Mhm.
someone starting out, best is networking and building
Right.
relationship and gaining that trust, and getting clients through that. And once you have the first client, and then start showing results, and then from there,
Mm.
for us, even though we are in our 11th year now, and I've tried all sorts of marketing strategies out there, Facebook, Google, SEO, everything, even then I still field referrals through our existing clients, and also from outside is still the number one source of client
Mm.
acquisition,
Wow.
especially
Yeah.
for our industry, for accounting and tax, where it's relationship and trust based. So
Mm.
number one source of lead generation is still referrals of
Wow.
existing clients and others. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
yeah, pretty. And then so let's fast forward like a few years, and then you ended up starting Boston Robotics.
Yeah.
What made you then decide to start this new business as well?
Yeah. So again, it's all coming from my background working for the corporate, where there were good systems and processes in place, and then there was also offshoring. As Philip Electronics for the North America, they also had resources and staff in India. So I also built that same model with when I started my firm. And also working in the corporate, we are all always about the process efficiency,
Mhm.
and controls and everything. So I've had all of those knowledge and experience. So even before all of this AI and ChatGPT boom started coming, so 4 years ago, I already had this idea of not just doing bookkeeping by just with the human staff. I always wanted to implement automation within our firm. So I already knew what tools to build the software robotic process automation RPA from. So 4 years ago, it's when we were handling a set of bookkeeping clients. Instead of just hiring, we now have a combination of bookkeeping is now done both by digital bots and also by human staff. So
Mhm.
currently we are at a stage where 84% of the bookkeeping task is done by digital bots. So since I
Mhm.
had the background working with the multinational company, I started off very early, and then we started building these RPA tools in-house.
Yeah.
2021, I believe, is when we started. And then initially when we started, it was about 40% of the bookkeeping done by digital bots, to now we are at 84%. So
Wow.
we started adding more and more activities. Now the digital bots can build a full cash flow on a weekly basis. In 1 hour, there's one client with 18 different businesses. It can build a complete cash flow within that 1 hour time period. So yeah, automation and processes was always
Mm.
I had in mind, and we started building that from that time onward.
Mhm.
So now we have so many of these bookkeeping type of tasks done by bots, and we are adding more and more to it as we go.
Wow.
That way,
Yeah. And it's
yeah,
mhm.
about 20 on our overall firm, I would say 20% of the cost has been saved by using the automations in-house.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And then so with this, you also implement these automations into other like accounting practices, right?
Yes, so that was the goal for Boston Robotics. Even now, we are heavily using it for our firm, but this is something can be implemented, taken and
Mhm.
implemented for an other accounting firm as well.
Yeah. Okay. And what would you say is like the key things that you're implementing it for in other firms? Like what's like the key things that they need help with being automated?
Um, so currently, so even if with AI, right, then you start off saying now bookkeeping can be done by AI, but which is this is very similar, but RPA can do more than what AI bookkeeping can do. Say AI within bookkeeping, it can do categorization and stuff like that, but with the RPA, it pretty much work like as if a human would do a specific task. So yeah, if we are implementing RPA for another accounting firm, we are
Mhm.
able to look at map out all the process a typical bookkeeper, full-time bookkeeper would do, and our bots can pretty much do 84% of what a human would do. So
Yeah.
it could save anywhere between from a human cost, from a human labor, the bots could cost them only 25% of what a full-time employee bookkeeper would cost. So there's a
Hmm.
75% cost save
Yeah.
for any accounting firm owner would
Uh-huh.
this service.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how. Mhm.
And what would you say is like the main tasks that you get this RPA to do for the clients that you implement it into?
So it starts with the banking transactions, credit cards, bank reconciliations, payroll journal entries, extracting reports from payroll providers, and creating journal entries. And it can build the entire we have a financial package. Like after we close the books, we have a template for that we deliver to the clients with the profit and loss and balance sheet and all the schedules. It can build that entire package and along with KPIs, and it can do cash flows. And we have deployed RPA in beyond bookkeeping too. Now it does financial analysis, budget versus actual variances. So it's a lot more reporting. Also, we started deploying RPA, so it can do tasks beyond bookkeeping as well.
Yeah. Okay. And then have you found it to help you with like the business advisory component that you said you guys are like focusing on now as well? And if so, how does it kind of help you like with that?
Not on the advisory piece yet, but it can help build the dashboards and KPI reports. So it
Mhm.
can build all the reports that we need to go present and discuss with the business owners. So from a
Mhm.
reporting and KPI and dashboard, it has helped on the advisory side, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then so then switching back to like FinAccurate, what are some of like the key changes that you're seeing in the industry?
Yeah, some of them I would say we were like little bit early adopters. But advisory is one. This has been recommended for like more than it's been a talks at least 10 years ago, but recently more and more with all the softwares and AI coming out, the firms are taking it more serious now uh,
Mm.
versus couple of years earlier, right? So now with so many softwares and AI can do the low level compliance task,
Mhm.
accounting firms are now forced to adopt this advisory. The AI hasn't caught up to advisory yet, but eventually it will get there as well. But
Mm.
now, what was optional and maybe not type of task, which is tax advisory and financial advisory, is now the only way firms can survive. So
Mm.
shift is here already, and if they do, the existing accounting firms don't adopt it, they are
Mhm.
soon going to be outdated. So it's adopt
Mhm.
or die is the
Mm.
is the word around right now.
Yeah.
If you don't adopt it, if, one they have to go, implement the softwares and AI products currently in the market. Once that's there, which takes care of the compliance, Now their time, the accounting firm owners, the CPA's time should be more focused on working closely with the business owners. So
Hmm.
this has been a huge disconnect for a long time, and even now, most of the accounting firms are just focused on delivering the service, right? And whether it's like filing the tax return, it's done. Here you go, sign it, and we will file it. That's it.
Yeah.
Really didn't. It's not that they didn't provide, but they really didn't had any time in the past until now to work closely with the business owners, understand what they need, how can we help them proactively, strategically, right? So that time was never there. So with the trend now, with all these technology available, firm owners will have more time now. They can
Mhm.
work closely with business owners. That's
Yeah.
definitely already
Mhm.
happening, and as we go, that's the space. Any firm owners who want to survive and grow need to focus more on adopting the advisory model and working closely with firms.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And a quote I've heard is like, AI isn't going to replace your job, but people using AI are going to replace your job.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I want to be respectful of your time because we've been going for a little while. How about let's finish off on what's like on for the last few months of the year? What are some of the things you're going to be working on for these last kind of 2 months of the year?
2 months of the year, so yeah, definitely closing the year with we are heavy on the tax advisory side, so we are always looking for innovative ways to advance strategies. So we call it on the tax advisory, come up with creative ways to help our clients pay the least amount of taxes as possible.
Yeah.
And the next 2 months, it's going to be heavily, though we work with our clients year round, making sure all the strategies we discussed with them are implemented, so they realize their savings at the end of the year. So it's more preparation and making sure things are implemented, and making sure all the documentation is done and they are saving what they expected to do. Some of that, and then making sure the newer strategies are introduced and help them save taxes. So it's more tax focused. And when it comes to bookkeeping and the CFO services, already making sure they are achieving their targets in terms of revenue and profitability by end of the year. And also, we already started talking about 2026 goals. So how do you want to start thinking about next year? What should be your priority?
Mhm.
That's what's
Yeah.
happening in
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah. So, lots of things happening.
Yes, yes, it's busy.
Yeah, awesome. Well, like this has been a great chat. I've learned a lot and hope everyone else has as well. Where can people find you to learn a little bit more about what you got going on?
I would say number one would be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is that's where
Mhm.
we are very active as well. And number two, going to our website, which is FinAccurate.com. So LinkedIn, you can find me. Yeah, so I post under me, not under the company a lot, but mostly under my profile, Jayanti Ganesh.
Mm.
Yeah, LinkedIn and website is the best place to go.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I saw you post a lot. That's I read a couple of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
this
Cool.
is
I'll put.
for education as well. It's not,
Yeah.
but I want to give more value back.
Yeah. No, it was interesting read. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'll include a link to those in the show notes below. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.